Hello, good afternoon and welcome to The Pulse. We are coming to you live from our studios in Kukumlimli on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, police officer pursuing errant trotro driver at Atiko Junction in Accra drives into a crowd, killing one person and injuring others.
And I do a pan at church and it's what snaps was Santino. Bland and I petche. Nothing say.
Also this afternoon, we are continuing our conversation on getting decent retirement benefits post our work lives as monthly pension for pensioners on state pension payroll increase. Our focus this afternoon is on penetrating into the informal sector.
We need to have a conversation as to possible areas of amendment, if any, and then the focus should be that we try and implement the full details of the Pensions Act.
Plus, concerned mobile network subscribers declare Tuesday, 8 February 2022 as a no-calls day in protest of the circuits surrounding the SIM card re-registration exercise. We have details for you shortly. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities, Ignilo Affordable Safe Sanitation. We're also streaming live on YouTube and all our social media handles at JoyNews on TV. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at the Nana Aisha. Please stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. The Africa Center for Energy Policy is urging the Finance Ministry to stay away from any plans to lend the Ghana National Petroleum Commission some $199 million contrary to Ghana's laws on petroleum revenue management. This is money ASAP alleges is to be used by GNPC to acquire 7% commercial interest in some of Ghana's key oil blocks previously held by Occidental Petroleum. GNPC last year announced the acquisition, adding that the interest acquired will be transferred to GNPC's subsidiary, the GNPC Exploration and Production Company, GNPC Exploco. ASEP, however, claims it has discovered that GNPC rather intends to assign the interest to a company registered in the Cayman Islands. Kojo Yaoche is policy lead for petroleum and conventional energy at ASEP.
GNPC at the time of communicating to the public knew that its intention was to assign the interest to a company called Jubilee Oil Holdings Limited, registered in the Cayman Islands with Dr. KK Sapon and Mr. Freddie Blay as directors. ASEP's search has not yet ascertained the beneficial owners of Jubilee Oil Holdings. It is important to note that the representation of the CEO and board chair of GNPC with their names in the General Registry of Cayman Islands is not enough proof that GNPC is the owner of Jubilee Oil Holdings. However, in the absence of evidence on shareholders of Jubilee Oil Holdings, we proceed with the assumption that GNPC owns the company. While the corporation has not provided public information on the strategic essence of this approach, the unofficial explanation received by ASEP indicates that the corporation intends to use the offshore company to pay off the loans for the acquisition before the interest reverts to Exploco. ASEP supports the acquisition of the 7% interest in the Jubilee and 10 fields. However, the right processes must be followed in respect of Ghanaian laws and proper corporate governance practices that project GNPC among its peers on accountability benchmarks. In addition, how the corporation has become broke from a strong cash position in the early years of oil production is a major subject for government's attention. Otherwise, additional interest will not necessarily produce a better corporation. Again, the PRMA reflects the country's philosophy on the management of petroleum resources. It is not the enemy of GNPC. The corporation must find ways to fit into that philosophy to advance the overall national interest, rather than the attempts to evade the dictates of the PRMA with convoluted schemes such as the new efforts to relocate assets in Ghana to the Cayman Islands. From the foregoing, we will therefore recommend that the corporation should seek parliamentary approval to ring-fence the 7% interest to guarantee a loan for a short period of 3 to 5 years to allow GMPC to use revenues from the acquired interest to amortize the loan as a financing option. Number 2, GMPC should hold the interest locally, either directly or through Exploco. A state company must lead by example, open itself wholly to the country's tax laws, and encourage others not to hide.
We take a break on the Pulse. We'll bring you more shortly. Welcome back to the Pulse. We're continuing our conversation this afternoon on our pensions. Yesterday, we dealt with how our pensions are managed and what to do to ensure a decent retirement. This afternoon, we're engaging industry players on how informal sector workers can benefit from the opportunities available in the pensions industry. Informal sector players are largely outside the pensions bracket and traditionally believed to depend on their children and other relatives during old age. With the Ghanaian society gradually shifting from the dependency culture, individuals will have to take their destinies into their own hands and prepare for the future. Our question is, how will the informal sector worker fare in retirement? My guest for this conversation this afternoon, Gideon Emisa, is with the Institute of Chartered Economists. Clement Boateng, he's also first vice chairman of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. David Agbuado would also join us. He's with the Concerned Drivers Association. And Nanase Fachum, who is spokesperson for the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, will also join us for the discussion. I'm grateful for your time, gentlemen. Well, let me take you off with a trip to the Abosokan Spare Parts dealership and other markets in Accra. Blaise Soga is our reporter.
The informal sector is at the heart of Ghana's thriving economy. However, this sector is characterized by underemployment and bad working conditions. The situation is even dire for a majority of the aging population who have fewer options for their social security plans as they head on pension. We have been interacting with some of the traders here at the Kaneshie market and also some spare part dealers at Abosokan who share their frustrations with us about how the pension regulation scheme in Ghana is not meeting the needs of the informal sector.
And we don't have any people to encourage us. We don't know how to do it. It's like we are selling by our own, and like at the age of growing age, we have nothing. The later that you get it here, then you enjoy it, then later on you go home with nothing. A time will come, you can't do anything. You'll be like, even sometimes from 50 years going, you can't do anything. The later that you get it, you use for your children, then later on you won't get anything. So if we can get people to encourage us, we will be happy about it.
Don't you know about the community? There's an option for you to make your own contribution. Is it that you don't know how to go about it? What's the challenge with that?
The thing is, sometimes it's like, let me use bank aside. As such, bank per se, if you put your money at bank, later on it will be a whole lot of problem. So this one, we don't know anything. You do the little susu, then later on you get it to do whatever you want to do with it.
So as for pensions, don't you have associations?
Nah, I don't have any association.
So what are your personal plans? If you become 60, how do you intend to take care of your child? Because I don't know your age, but you are middle-aged. That's how you look. But what are your plans? How do you intend?
It's only God knows. Maybe, and I know that the little that we are getting, we'll put it on our children. So maybe, or let's say, during that time, our children can to help us. But in Ghana, it's very difficult because by the time you get that age, your child too will have a family. Then the little that you get, instead of bringing to you, you put it in the family. So it's difficult for us. Because nobody is here to encourage us.
There's no education.
Nah, nobody. There's nothing as education. Nobody has nothing. Nah, we are just here. Then nothing.
What do you feel that the authorities should be doing about it?
Oh, if they educate us about it, we'll be happy. Then people will understand it more. Instead of being susu, then people will take your money away. No, you put yourself inside that one. I hope it will be better.
So for your colleagues, I'm sure that you've been speaking to your friends and those who also do this trading with you. How share their story with us as well. What do they tell you? Are they scared that if they go on retirement, they will not get anything?
Yes, that's what many people say, that it's difficult. The little that we get it here, we have to save some, because during that age, nothing will come out from the little that you are doing. So if you get people to encourage, that one will be better than doing that. Sometimes somebody can take your money away without seeing that person again.
Apart from the susu, do you have any personal plans that you put in place for yourself?
Nah, there's nothing. Only susu, then later on bank, we take that money to bank. There's nothing. Yes, if you people can help us for our business to later on, we won't regret about it. That one will be happy.
So why are you scared of other investment options? Is it that you are scared that your money will go? Why are you scared of that?
Let me say, is it now one or whatever he is? Me personally, I will encourage my friend to do such.
I didn't take it serious. By now they have seen that it benefits people, so I will do it as.
So how old are you now?
By now I've made my plan now. Yeah.
So you feel that they should come and tell you people about
they should come educate us so that we can also follow it.
We are here at the Abosokan community, which is noted for activities of spare parts dealers, and as you know, spare part dealers fall within this category of informal workers or those in the informal sector. We're engaging some of them to find out what plans they've made for themselves, since they claim that the formal sector has not made, or the National Pensions Regulatory Authority has not made any laws or regulations which responds to their needs in terms of pension plans. I'll be speaking to one of the workers here at one of the workshops where we found ourselves.
We are here. We don't have any pride about even something like what do you call it, development. We just every year we do. I mean, we don't have any pride. We don't have any pride. We just stay here and do every day. We come and we go.
So what you mean to tell me is that as the days friends have gone on retirement already, what experiences do they share with you? What do they tell you? How is life for them?
Okay, they used to tell us that we should find some association so that we can contribute every day. At the end of our retirement, we can gain something, because as for them, they are suffering now. So as we are coming, we have to fight so that at the end of our retirement, we can gain something. Yeah.
So, personally or as a group, what plans are you making to deal with them?
We don't have any plan, so we need help. So that if
from who exactly you want?
The authorities, if they can help us, we need authority to help us, so that at the end of our old age we can gain something.
Okay, so you want some laws to be made that would govern that, but we know that, for instance, there's the tier 3 pensions where you can pay by yourself voluntarily, so that when you go on pension it can cater for you. You are saying that's not enough? It's not enough?
Yeah.
So what more? What are you looking at? What do you think should be done?
That's initially I say the authorities.
Right.
We need their help, so that they can come and explain it for us. Maybe we don't understand, even at the end of our retirement, we don't know how, I mean, we can get something. So when they come and they explain it to us, we very appreciate it, so that we started contribute, so that our old age we can gain something. Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear from some more of your colleagues who are here. Hello, welcome to JoyNews, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So when your colleague was talking about help, I saw you supporting his call, asking that authorities come in and educate you on your pensions. Is it that you don't know about the opportunities that you have? Is it that you don't know what to do now? Because the law provides that there's tier 3. You can contribute by yourself. Why are you not taking advantage of that? Why are you not doing that?
Oh, that one is good, but as my brother said, nobody will come here and then explain everything to us. So far as you are coming here, I hope from right now you have started to do something about it. So if you stay here, nobody will come and tell you anything because we don't know anything. So right now you come here, so far as you explain everything to us, we are all concluded, and then
okay, so you come
come together, and then you are doing something, right, or you are planning.
You want the authorities to come?
Yes, because now you need help. Okay. Because as of now, if you go as a pensioner, you don't get anything. Because this work you can't do it forever and ever. By all means, you are going old. So if you go old, you can't do anything. But like you get some small pension. Or tip small, so by all means, the end of your old time, then you get some small amount for your pockets.
So you want like a law? Maybe?
Yes. If they make that law, it will help us. Because is it good? Everybody can join it.
So you don't want it to be voluntary? There should be a law that forces.
If you come, it's okay. It will help us. Like if you want to join them, it be your own benefits. Yes, so that one I hope it be a good idea. So far as you are come here, you have to try and help us, because we ourselves if you come here, you no go if you go anywhere, unless you came here and then you take the message go out, and then everybody here say the mechanic and other people are suffering. So that's one there it can be.
So personally, what plans do you make? Because I see, what's your age, sir?
Oh, right now I there for and I'm going to 50 years.
Right. So which means that you just have some few years and you go on retirement. Are you making any plans?
No, I don't have any plan. So if the plans come out, by all means, we can do something better. Because the older age, it be difficult than this one. This one I can do everything, but my old time, I can't do anything. But like you have some pension scheme, small. Every month, when you say, oh, I get some for the this. If you go to Banga, by all means you get your chop money. But if you stay here like this and then you go pension, but you don't get anything, and then you go die free. So if you make that lower, it will help us.
Okay. What are you, sir?
Please, I'm 47 years.
Which means that you have about 13 years to go on retirement.
Yes.
Do you have plans for yourself when you go on retirement?
No, I don't have plan, because like I expect that in my old age, when I go to retirement, I'll have some like insurance people to give me some allowance as the other sectors did it, institutions do. But I know we don't have any helper to put us into that institution to have benefits of these things. So we have the aim and the plan, but the one who can help from the other governments or the authorities to see the situation of this mechanic, so that he will give us an institution so that it can help us after our retirement. But as at now, we don't have any institution that can help. So we are.
But I understand you have the Garages Association. He was talking about the fact that it's not effective. Why not forming your own association so you can contribute? Is it that?
We don't have any leadership to make it. Yes. If you get the correct leadership, then he will gather all the mechanic and then sprayers and other workers to form that association. But we don't have any leader to go through with that process.
Now, your colleague was also talking about how you don't have education on even pension, so a lot of your members don't know even about it.
Yeah, that also is true. Because of education, people know involve themselves in those things. And if some people come out and explain things like this, maybe it can give us good motive to have that mind in ourselves. So
okay, so you want the authorities to intensify
to come and have these teachings, so that we also have the real mind to go with it. Because as at now, many workshops, they don't have any association to join. Just come and work, go home, have their chop money, that's all. No, after their pension, nothing will come out. So
are you scared yourself, knowing that you have just a few years to go on retirement?
Yes, just a few years, maybe 10 years, even 5 years. I'll go. Yeah, I'll retire because I work. I don't have any. I don't get anything, so that if I retire, it will be better for me.
Is it that difficult for you?
Difficult because I'm thinking of after retiring, what am I going to eat? My families, my wife, my children. So all these things, I'm thinking about it. So we need the help from the authorities to help us, so that we can also get our future better.
Blessed Sogan reporting for Joy News, Accra.
In Kumasi, Mona Lisa Frimpong has been speaking to some informal sector players as well on a pension plan for them. Here's her report.
Many in the informal sector cringe at the mention of pension or end of service benefits. 74-year-old Obapenin Ya Ampoma sits at Aja Market in Kumasi selling yam. She has been selling this food commodity since age 9. At age 77, she should have retired, but she is unable to do so.
I survive by selling tubers.
Obapenin Ampoma had little education on pension contributions. She is rather hoping her retirement needs will be taken care of by her children.
My children are my end of service benefits.
Her situation is no different from that of 77-year-old Alhaji Yauza Yakubu. He owns a shop at Abuabu Station in Kumasi. Pension trustee companies have attempted to get him to sign up, but Alhaji Yakubu is unbothered about monthly contributions for pensions. In situations of invalidity, he is positive his children will take care of him with proceeds from his business.
Pension fund management companies have tried to convince me, but I have refused to give in.
Data from the National Pensions Regulatory Authority reveals that the informal sector employs almost 80 to 85% of the Ghanaian working populace. However, many players in the informal sector have little or no education about contributing towards pensions or planning towards retirement. And this causes most of them to live below the poverty line during their old age. Retirees without any awaiting retirement funds become financially dependent on their children. 23-year-old Seidu Fuseini is a trotro mate at Tech Junction. He earns 30 cedis daily, but is forced to share with his ailing mother.
They are about 70 years and then 85 years going. So when you come to work, you work maybe a day, you get 30 cedis. You give share or amount of them, and then you also take half. I mean, you buy food, and you buy clothing, you buy everything. So when the work is not good, you cannot get money and give them.
28-year-old Yao Danso is also unhappy with the financial pressure he goes through when he is just about starting life.
Our parents are living in bad conditions, but we split our income with them. Many
informal sector workers wish they were rolled on to pension schemes. However, trust issues and misconceptions are keeping them away.
Our contributions get locked up at the fund management companies. I am not bothered,
The misconception has posed a challenge to efforts of governments and agencies to extend the coverage of pensions to the informal sector workers. Alex Owusu-Boakye is zonal head of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, Ashanti.
Well, before we started, there was contribution 0. And it went up 1%, 2, 3, 4, now it's 6%. And we are aiming at 40%. If we are able to get that 40% by 2026, that will be very, very huge. And it is good for the economy as well. The GDP will definitely go up.
Well, in a few years, it is estimated that 3 billion people will be found in the aging population. And what impact would it have on our society? Especially when in Ghana, most of our aging population are performing traditional roles, are found in the informal sector, making little or no pension contributions at all, not planning towards their retirement. We await to see the economic pressure it is going to have on the working class who are forced to support their aging parents. From Kumasi for JoyNews, Mona Lisa Frempong reporting.
Let's now understand the contribution of the informal sector to our economy and why it is so much important to get them on the pension scheme. My guest for the discussion, as I mentioned earlier, Gideon Emisa, he's CEO of the Institute of Chartered Economists. He's also joining us is Clement Boateng, who is first vice president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. He will join us later in the discussion. David Aguado is a PRO with the Concerned Drivers Association. And joining the conversation also is the regulator, Dr. Nanase Fachum. He's spokesperson at the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. I'm grateful for your time, gentlemen. I think we should begin by understanding the importance of the informal sector and their contribution to the economy. And I'll start with you, Mr. Emisa.
Thank you very much. I think we are aware it's not something that is so much of a news to us, as our economy is largely informal, and the majority of the people who contribute to the economy are in the informal sector. So if you look at our key sectors to the economy, you realize that services, largely leading the agriculture industry also in there. But when you're looking at services, particularly trade, which we would be looking at buying and selling, we have a couple of people in there. And I'm sure most of the people that I interviewed, those who are selling spare parts and other things, is basically into trading. And those market men are also in there. Also, we have a couple of them also in agriculture. So if you look at our economy, it's mostly informal. So, and we are now trying to analyze it by putting in place some policies with respect of digitization or digitizing the economy, and then getting people to register and link the database and all that. I think that is why it makes this conversation very, very important. Because globally, if you look at the OECD report on pensions, you realize that the conversation is how we can get informed, being on a pension scheme or providing some form of social security for them when they are on retirement. And so I think that's where the conversation is getting to, and I think that's what makes this particular topic very, very crucial. You would also realize that from the manifesto of the political party, in this case, the MPP manifesto under the social development, you realize that they made mention of the fact that they want to put in place a scheme for cash crop farmers who are also largely in the informal sector. We are being told that some policy analysis has been done and left with implementation. I think between NPR and
try and fix Mrs. line. There seem to be some connection challenges. We'll try and get him on back because he's making a very critical point. But let me bring in David Aguado, who is PRO for the Concerned Drivers Association. We've listened to a number of people in the informal sector this afternoon. They've spoken out their challenges. Some of them say they don't even know what the pension scheme is all about. They don't know where to get it done and who to even speak with. What has been the complaint from your members?
Good afternoon, my dear sister. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yes, David, let's hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually the Hello?
Mr. Aguado, I'm asking what the complaint is from your members.
Concern?
Yes, with regards to putting them on the pension scheme. Let's try and get his line fixed. There seemed to be too much noise there, but thankfully we have Dr. Nana Sefachum, who is with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Sefachum. I know that the Pensions Act 766 makes provisions for the informal sector. Now, if you listen to the people we spoke with this afternoon, they have challenges. One of the biggest is the fact that they don't even know where to go to get the pensions, and they don't even have any education about this pension. I mean, what specifically does the law say?
I think you are right. The law stipulates that every Ghanaian, irrespective of the sector that you work, there's the urgent need for you to be on pension whilst you are on retirement. And you need to start preparing for your retirement while you are working. The law says that every single individual in this country, after 15 years, you need to be on pension if you are working. And I must say that the start of the pension scheme or pension scheme in this country started on a very wrong premise. Why do I say that? I say that because we started the pension scheme in this country in 1965, targeting only people in the formal sector, people who were working with government, so to speak. And therefore, we neglected the huge number of people who were in or still in the informal sector. And that has been our bane as a country. And therefore, we have well over 11 million people working in this country without pension when they retire. And that has been our headache as an authority. So we have put measures in place to address this issue. Like my colleague in the Ashanti region said, when we started, we were at 0. 3 years ago, we were at 3%. And now we can confidently say that we are at 6%, giving ourselves about 5 years that we want to hit about 40% of the pension coverage in this country within the informal sector.
What exactly has been the difficulty in getting the informal sector to be on?
You know the people that we live with as countrymen. It is difficult when there is no stringent measures to at source deduct money from them. You and I will bear witness that even those of us who work in the informal sector where our monies are deducted at source, if the monies were given to us to go and pay, it will be going to be difficult for us to do that. So the difficulty has been when the money gets into the hands of the people and then you call them to bring the money. It's difficult to do that. But I also want to address this thing, that it's not only about education, it's also about motivation. We need to motivate the people and let them know the importance of pension contributions. We need to let them know that one day, you cannot work forever and ever. One day you get retired. And when you retire, what will be your backbone that will cater for you? I heard people on your program this afternoon saying that they are 60, they are 45. In the informal sector, when you want to be on pension scheme, you can start at 15 and end at 100 years if your age will permit you. You don't have any limit where you have to start or where you have to end. So they should forget about I'm 45 years, I'm 50 years, I'm this and that. The onus lies on them to start at any particular point when they have income. But that said and done, we also look at the informal sector and we realize that their income is not regular as those in the formal sector. Some of them have their income, or if you like, their remuneration weekly, others monthly, and they also differ in terms of quantum. So you do that at your own pace and your capability, your abilities, financial abilities to do it. So you are not obliged to go along with those in the formal sector. You do it if you receive 1,000 Ghana cedis, for instance. You can decide that I have to pay or I have to contribute 100 Ghana cedis a month or 100 Ghana cedis a week, according to your financial capability. That is how the law says, and that is how it is due. That is the beauty of the three-tier pension scheme. You are not compulsed, you are not forced to do what you can do. You do it at your own pace, and we are putting also measures in place where you can sit at the comfort of your office or your shop or wherever, and then you will be deducting. We are compelling by law. We'll soon come out with a law to compel the corporate trustees. When I say the corporate trustees, I mean those companies, the private companies that we have license to look at people's pension, take the contributions from them, invest and give it back to them at their retirement age. We are compelling them to go out and do these things. We're going to do it as a matter of requirement. If we come to you, your office, and then we give you a target that by this time you need to get so many people on your scheme, and you have failed to do that, we will consider renewing your license or otherwise. So we are looking at an issue that these corporate trustees are so comfortable in working with the tier 2 people, because that is automatic. At the end of the month, the money will come to them. But here is the case, there are a huge number of people in the informal sector where and when I say we, those of us in the industry have to approach them, have to go there, motivate them, provide the means for them, make it easier and comfortable for them to contribute towards their pension. And this is what the corporate trustees are not doing. And we are going to enforce that from this year as part of our activities. We're going to enforce them to look at these things, to go down there to their shops, to their stores. Meanwhile, we as an authority have organizing what we call market activations, where we bring these people on board, the corporate trustees. We don't have the power by law to register people onto pension. Our business is supervise and regulate. And therefore, we are now going to help them to, as it were, go down there to register people onto pension schemes. So these are some of the few things that we have done. And when they talk about education too, I think we have started a very massive education. Last year, for instance, we did what we call the Pension Awareness Week. For the first time in this country, we have never had that one. So we involve our minister, who is so much interested in the pension activities that we embark. And he accompanied us to around the country, sensitize people. We went to the Tumfo, we went to the Chief Imam, we went to the Christian Council, sensitizing them. And fortunately, we have had a very good response from the Chief Imam and the Christian Council, where the Christian Council, for instance, are going to gather all the pastors under them for us to train them. We're going to do a seminar for them in Accra, in Kumasi, and Tamale for almost every pastor or church leader under the Christian Council so that they can use their pulpit also to tell people the need for them to involve themselves in pension. You will bear with me that many of our people that we target are Christians. Others are Muslims. So when we get these people, I think we will get somewhere. We also have a program with the GPRT. We have a program with the Gucha. And I think with this, we're going to be on pension.
I'm happy that you've identified the difficulties that you've had with the informal sector, and you've agreed that motivation is actually key, which you say you've started. And that definitely that means that you have an intensive plan that you want to execute. Are there timelines to these plans that you say you've started?
Yeah, there are timelines. We're starting, for instance, next week we will be in Ho. And then this year, our major market activation is going to be in Dambai in the OT region, where we're going to have a massive 1-week program to get in touch with groups, associations, institutions, gather them together and talk to them, motivate them to be on pension. We don't do this alone. Like I said earlier, we don't have the power by law to register anybody on pension. So we go along with the corporate trustees who register them. Last year, for instance, we were at Asesua, another huge market area, where we went with 4 of the corporate trustees. And for the 3 days that we spent there, we registered over 500 market women. And I'm proud to say that the Minister for Labor and Employment and Labor Relations, Bafo, paid money from his own pocket for 20 of them to start the program. And these are what I think is a kind of motivation that we can do to people, to motivate them, help them to understand and appreciate the need for them to be on pension scheme.
Doc, as we speak about involving the informal sector, we also are concerned about the kind of investments that are made on our behalf by SNITs as contributors. The Auditor General's report captures 440 million cedis going into non-performing investments. How did the NPRA, as a regulator, watch on for this to happen?
We are not happy when our fund managers make certain investments that are not fruitful, that are not profitable on behalf of contributors. So last year we set up a committee, and then we went out to have new investment guidelines for all corporate trustees, all fund managers, and all the industry players. So we are going to enforce this to the letter. We have a unit in our authority called the SNIT unit, who from time to time go and look at the investment policies and investment guidelines and investment activities of the SNIT. We have also another unit that also look at other corporate trustees and investment plans, investment policies that we think are not in line with what we like, and then we direct them as how to go about it. We are going to give this to them. It's likely we have not decided yet, but it's likely we'll have this launch so that people around and those in the industry will be aware exactly what we mean by giving them investment guidelines to work with. So believe you me, we're going to have all these things solved, because for SNIT, SNIT is the issue now. It is SNIT that people and the Auditor General have found out that some investments went wrong. And that is why we also took upon ourselves to look at this and correct the measures that they have done.
Hold for me and then bring on Gideon Emisa, who is CEO of the Institute of Chartered Economists. I hope that your line will be better now. Earlier, you were explaining to me the importance of the informal sector and their contribution to the economy. All right, we lost him. David is also here. He speaks for the Concerned Drivers Association. David, Good to have you back. I was asking you, because if you listen to a number of the people we spoke with, most of them said they didn't know anything about the pension scheme. Most of them said even if they wanted to do, they didn't know how to go about it. Now, Dr. Sefa has also admitted that education and motivation is very important in getting those people on board. And I'm asking, what are the complaints coming from your own members?
Thank you very much, my sister. The complaint is, as usual, what we are saying. At times, the youth contributors themselves, they will come to our stations, our various stations, educating us how to get involved or how to join it. But after registering us, they will not send their people for the money again. They will expect us to come with the money to the upstate. Well, we are not used to that. Even if we will be used to it, they have to determine office before we can get used to it. So if you ask me, this is some of the challenges we have. Even I myself have registered with one pension scheme. I don't want to mention the name. So we start contributing like 2 to 3 months, then off, we don't see them again in our station. So that makes it, even if they come with their sweet words, we don't want to join. We want to be on our own.
What has leadership of your group, I mean, you as the leader, what have you done to ensure that your members actually understand what's going on and they even develop interest? Have you had any engagement with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority or SNIT or all the stakeholders involved?
But we didn't have any directive to them. But what we ourselves, we have our own way of, seeing through our people that are pensioned. That is, in your sector, you will call it table talk. Yes, we do give them money at their retirement age from our own pocket, but not from SNIT or from any other pension scheme authority. But rather ourselves have made a package for ourselves. Those that goes beyond 50 years, we do pay them every month. But us forwarding it or channel it to other people, we didn't do that for our union. That's what we have been doing to our own members. Like us going to SNIT or Dashing Pension Scheme and other people, we haven't gone to them. So we are doing it on our own, giving them pension pay. As I speak to you, we have 18 people on our pay list that every month we pay them at our branch alone. That's I'm talking in terms of the branch which I supersede. The various ones, some are 5, some are 10. It's our own something that we do. But in terms of pension scheme and other things, it's not there.
Nana Sefa made the point that they admit that there are challenges, but they are willing to work towards it. So they are actually rolling out an intensive plan to get the informal sector to be part of the pension scheme. Your input certainly is very important. What exactly do you want done?
What we want them to do is, you see, in terms of, let me use my school as an example. With the transporters, when they jump to the headquarters, now we have a data of all our members. Concern, we have ours. DPRTU also have theirs. Ghana Committed have theirs. These 3 associations, I have been to their data rooms and other things, and I have seen that, yes, everybody have these members on board, and they have a number and code for them. So they should contact each region, the regional secretariat, and then, yes, when they contact the regional secretariat, they will call on the branches to bring their members or to, educate their members to be registered. And the union will take the money and they will come for the money. Because we have a way of, taking funds from our members. Example, like my station, like the highway branch of us, we have a money that we do contribute. That some are going for building. We call it building fund. Some, those that are purchasing the land, we call it land fund. So if pension will come and we have pension fund, it will help. So they should contact the leaders. When they contact the leaders, it will trickle down to the various branches and then the local. This is how I think if they do it, it will help all of us.
All right, David Agboado is PR of the National Concerned Drivers Association. Dr. Sefachum is still on with us. Doc, we've also made critical observation of data with regards to the TPFA, and that has to do with the transiting from Tier 1 to Tier 2. It's not available for operators, especially in the public sector. Why is it so?
Well, there were difficulties regarding the institution that we, if you like, contracted to work on the data, but we are getting closer to the end of this matter, and very soon we will come and announce where we are. I think we've made a very huge success in getting this done, so we will come out soon, very soon, pretty soon to announce this.
Do you want to attach timelines to this, to your soon?
I wouldn't want to, because we working with human institutions and systems which can fail at any time. So I don't want to do that.
Well, earlier, I'm happy you also mentioned trustee companies who actually manage some of these things. There are those who are worried that, I mean, if you look at what happened in the finance sector or the banking sector, similar things can happen in the pension scheme if these trustee companies.
I'm not cutting you short, but not in the pension industry.
How are you ensuring that it doesn't happen?
And this is the reason why I say that.
Okay.
As per the law governing pension schemes in this country, whatever happens and whenever it happens, whatever money that we have that is in the name of pension has to be withdrawn and paid to the Bank of Ghana first before anything happens. It is so secure, so secure. Pension funds are so secured in this country that it's not only in this country. Wherever pension schemes are around the globe, pension funds are so secured. So that is why I'm confident, and I'm saying that can never. It's not in anybody's personal account. It's not in anybody's company account. It is a particular account that can never be touched, even by not even by government. So that is the law. Nobody can touch it. That is why I always say with confidence that pension funds can never be touched.
I haven't said so. Let me take you back to Tier 1, which is managed by SNIT. Going forward, how do we ensure that investments made on our behalf really do not go bad, so that we bear the brunt at the end of the day?
I think I've discussed this with you earlier on, that we have drawn investment guidelines for all the industry players, and the next thing for us to do is to ensure that this is applied to the letter. And like we don't want to fail as an authority, a regulatory authority in this country. And once we do that, our image and our integrity is at stake. And that is why we are my CEO, lawyer Atakufe, has been on the neck of these people to get this done, and has been done. And we assure you, I can confidently assure you that this is going to be looked at with all the open eyes and everything, so that we can get it right for contributors.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Nana Sefachum is the spokesperson for the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. At least one person has been killed after a policeman drove into bystanders at Atiko Junction. Details shortly.
These are angry residents of Atiko, a spot just off the Winneba Highway where a vehicle rammed into unsuspecting bystanders. According to eyewitnesses, the vehicle in question, a Toyota Vitz taxi, was being driven by a police officer who lost control. Here's one of them.
Driver no this speed e be twam to this speed ni be twam wa ye hu say taxi bi su di nachi te wa na ye hu say wa bo papa bi wa ha no mo pau tipa no me ye wa kumunipo nti ye nyina piepie ba na na se car no a jump wa ha jump ba ha na nkwala na wa ha no obu nyina dwane ye nti na ga yi su so hihye ne niam wa ha nti ono so hu se nkwala ni dwane no to ono so balance e wa pe na car no e be fa ne so ya fan so na ye na hwana ye na police ni no o si frika mu bae nto bae no na kwa ese ase BBS na police ni abepie so tie de enim say oba no abehwe accident na asi no nti achi no mo yese o enye driver bi no no na de car na bo nti achi na ono agina drop ya yetam ga ni shame no mo de ne kwanti kwalebu ho no no ekoka say ono na drive car no na no ogina trotro driver bi wa nyina nti wo chase ni no na eje ne nsam ana say o de be ye sa de
3 people were knocked down. Even though 2 of them are currently receiving medical treatment, 1 of them died on the spot.
No, that's all for police in India to me. See, if you say, oh, one, you will be the car driver in the car bomb. It's happening. Come on, I have a susuye. Sakwama, ya have a susu henna. So that police in India to me. See, ever see Samri.
This has left many of the vendors at the spot, which is one of the busiest bus stops on the stretch, visibly spooked. This lady has been selling breakfast meals at Atiko Junction for years.
And the whole day, much of the men, the whole day, the unemployment. And a person is slow, many a man in our name got 2 years. And quite funny, I'm also a macodiam the year, man. Now, why, yes, see, I could be a big now, I begin a samska. Why, yes, see, I'm for Obama, baby.
But they blame the bad state of the road for the incident. They want the deep gullies and potholes to be fixed to avert a recurrence.
This is the second reportage that I'm doing on this bad road. And what I'm saying is that it's a major contributing factor. Because, for instance, if he was not on top speed, definitely he was going to use this outer road. Of which, knowing that people do board car here and as a bus stop, they do normally reduce the speed. Because of this bad road, they don't use the outer road again. They all use the highway. And of course, when things do happen, this is one of the things that do happen. Now we lost a life. The family is in grievances. Must we always lose life to fix and be responsible? No. All we are saying is that the little and as a quarter of the national cake, this is what the people in this area we have. Fix it for us. Fix this thing for us. When it rains, it's a canker. We have to carry people at our back. Some people charge 5 cedis to carry you and cross this road. Here becomes like a river. This gutter is choked because all the water that is coming has to use one route. And we find ourselves terribly in situations that sometimes we feel that we are not Ghanaians or we are left out.
It is a young couple on the Adoma, and can you pay more than something peoples into one man on my pan and my macro your school and your Jumanya, and I'm planning in them. How? A quine swam for so big now, so far castle, or also a quan when you're my an accident on Quan also. Shall quite one chair could find a normal of Chapman, a quite can John Pierce, a quine young came to me in accident, or be a young cabo, Junani baby, Cacani, Kukunisa.
So, in just a split second, this spot, which was Abane's source of livelihood, became the spot where she breathed her last, with her bloodstains still pretty much visible. For now, her family is calling for justice to be served, while the residents here, many of whom are really concerned, call for the immediate fixing of the road, which they say was a major contributing factor to this incident. For JoyNews, my name is Manuel Kranti.
The Ghana Water Company is attributing the recent erratic supply of water to homes to the onset of the dry season. In a statement issued to the general public, the company, however, assures of being on top of the challenge and will fix it. It is thus encouraging the public to adopt various measures of saving water so they do not run out entirely. Director of Communications at the Ghana Water Company, Stanley Mate, told JoyNews the company has resorted to water demand management to ensure equitable distribution of the little water currently being produced at the various treatment plants.
We
we expect everybody to be part of the solution, such that we all have roles to play. All have roles to play in the usage of the water in the system. We all have a role to play in stopping the persistent pollution of our river bodies. And now, currently around this season, that is the core of the issue, such that because of the pollution of the river bodies, we are unable to abstract enough.
Right.
Okay. Now, if we do not stop the pollution, okay, some of our rivers will go extinct, and then in the near future, we may not even have the water to abstract to treat at all. And we have had this experience before in times past. I just pray that it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen again. So all have to get up our loins. We all have to get on board in the education of the general public, so that we stop the pollution of our river bodies. Because around the dry season is the main challenge that we face. We are unable to abstract water from one of our treatment plants, that is the Dabwase treatment plant. So we have had to resort to another treatment plant at Busumase, so that we could abstract very little to treat and pump to secondary Takrade, because that treatment plant serves secondary and Takrade. So if we can't abstract water from Dabwase and we have to resort to our booster station or our treatment plant at Busumase, then it's a very serious problem.
The Arangun Crocodile Pond in the Binduri district in the Upper East region is drying up. The town's sacred pond, known to accommodate a number of crocodiles, has not received any major attention from the district assembly despite its tourism potential. Residents want measures put in place to help transform the pond into a tourist site to generate revenue. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin was there and has filed this report.
This pond has been here for many years. Residents say it is as old as the community. It is difficult to count the number of crocodiles here.
My name is Reverend Elisha Osman Agbang. I'm from Zosi Jianku. Akolwok Pond is a pond that contains a whole lot of crocodiles. As you can see, there is one lying over there.
Known as Akolwok, it is one of the few crocodile ponds in the Upper East region, but little or no attention has been paid to the pond. Reverend Elisha Osman Agwang Alombila Dawini and Imoro Zakari Akugri have all witnessed and monitored the activities of the crocodiles over the past 3 decades.
We used to swim here when we were young, till now. They don't leave, they don't go to any place, they used to stay in the water.
The issue is that if you come here and you are putting, let me say, is it a frog or a toad inside, you see that a number of them will come on top of the water. So you see that they will run, more than 10 or 15 will run and come out, so that they will be harassing. So from there, they will get to know that there are so many inside in the water.
But in recent times, the level of water in the pond is gradually decreasing. Residents attribute the drying up to farming activities along the pond, among others.
And these days, the water is decreasing. So we don't know why the water is decreasing. We need to come out. Like farming along the riverside made the water to be so shallow, not deep again like we used to know in the first time. So we are calling upon help. Whichever or whomever who heard of this should support us so that this place can change into a tourist center.
Here is Chief of Yargun Naba Alombila Alal Kuduk. The pond is at the verge of death. It was expanded several years ago. I think those who farm near the pond are destroying it. The crocodiles used to come out for fresh air, but because of the farmers, they don't come out anymore.
Ramnore to ni de pe awele mella ora edu no gba Ram beni beke beni we ko so ni ba.
He says the pond is one of the respected earth gods, which on many occasions communicated to them about the future.
Bozugo kolgaya kamsina ne kuningi te maslem te vom ya na ma shella te vom musa beneni te vom musa beneni tunzi le boela.
If the water dries up now, we will not be happy. What our grandfathers told us was that our lives depend on the survival of the pond, which is an earth god. If something was about to happen, it communicated to us. Naba Alal Kudu can't also tell the age of the pond, but says his grandparents came to meet it. How residents could channel their concerns to government officials is one of the biggest challenges.
Because they are not paying attention to it, we spoke about it to our leaders and they are not saying anything. And we know we those are here, our level of education is very low. So how to channel it is a very big problem to us. That's why the crocodile pond is still lying this way.
If this crocodile pond is developed, if people come to expand the pond, it will create the enabling environment for the crocodiles so that many people will come and the place will open up. The youth here will get work to do. I believe if this crocodile pond is developed, we'll see that here is a potential area. People can come and do investment, and it will open up and create jobs for the youth and everyone in and around the community here.
The development of the crocodile pond will not only serve as a tourist site, but also generate revenue for the country until something significant is done to transform the current state of the pond. It will remain as it is, or even worse, for many years to come. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
Road users plying that the banned road around the North Industrial Area in Accra are appealing to the government to fix the deplorable nature of the road. According to motorists, the gaping potholes on the stretch continuously pose a risk to road users. They tell JoyNews' Sarah Mensah this is not the first time they're raising concerns about the stretch, but it seems their plea has fallen on deaf ears.
Industrial area is usually a busy stretch. From afar, business seems to be booming with new shops springing up at almost every corner. But take a closer look and you realize the roses are far from red here. On the popular Dadiban stretch, a portion of the road is in a deplorable state. Road users say the stretch is now a death trap.
I don't know what is happening now. As we can see, the road is very bad. And now they are not passing the main road. They are now passing where the pedestrians are passing. You see, because of the bad state of the road. So we are pleading to the authorities to come and do something about it. It's very bad. Seriously, it's very bad.
Most vehicles avoid using this section of the road. Business operators say the situation is affecting them as prospective customers often use alternative routes.
Every time when there's rain, lotions every time, or erosions, everything, we just spread. Many of them, you can see some refuse, there's been some trash away on the road. By seeing this road, transportation cars, they are not moving, they are not going. So when they are not passing through this road, how are they going to expect that they should see what we are sending here, what we are dealing with here? They can't see. Because of the bad of the road, they are not passing here anymore.
I would say it's affected me in two ways. Firstly, our business. Secondly, my church. Because most of the time when I'm going to church, I go to church as sprinters. And I told people I'm coming to this area because of the bad road, they don't want to take me or they charge me high. So, and secondly, because of my business, because people are not passing here again, it's affecting us.
because if the road is good, then a lot of people will be patronizing here and will be able to come to our office to buy some other shares.
The few drivers who ply the route risk damaging their shock absorbers, shafts, and even tires. They called on government to, as a matter of urgency, fix the road. Some road users shared their frustration with JoyNews.
I've been using this road for over 7 years now. Yes, and this is a stage for, as far as I can know. I mean, I know it has been like this. I actually didn't want to use here today because I knew it was going to be like this. Now, I don't get to work early because of this place. It takes me 10 minutes to cross here.
I just can't imagine how bad this place has been and the number of people who ply this road. And look at the industries, the factories around here. And those of us who are using small cars, you could imagine to see the effects on our car. This looks like a connected road that looks simpler to our homes. You cannot afford to dodge it, and you always have to pass through here. Your car is damaging, all kind of wear and tears.
Until this road is fixed, business operators around here risk losing their source of livelihood. Sarah Mensah's report for JoyNews.
All right, we'll take a break. On the pulse, we'll bring you more. It's time now for sports. Orikwa Mofa has joined me. Orikwa Mofa, why do I keep calling you Orikwa Mofa? Forgive me. You know it's a former minister's name, right? Good to see you, Orikwa.
Good to see you, Aisha.
So tomorrow, Ghana is playing the second match in the group. What should we expect? I mean, is Ghana prepared for this match?
Well, Milovan Rajevac, who is the coach of the side, spoke in a press conference today earlier with Richmond Boakye-Adom, who also plays as a striker for Ghana. And what you could pick from the press conference was the fact that they want to right their wrongs. They admit that it was a lethargic performance, probably one of the poorest that Ghanaians have seen, especially going forward. And they would want to change that. In fact, Milo has promised that they've analyzed how Gabon plays, and Ghanaians should expect, something much better in terms of how the team would play. But the aim, of course, is to win. According to Boakye-Adom, he says that the team is aiming to reach the final, and the agenda is to win against Gabon and win against Comoros and qualify to the knockout round. So, from what they've said so far in the press conference, we can expect a much better performance from the team and hopefully a win.
I keep hearing people say Gabon is a done deal for Ghana. Comoros doesn't come anywhere near Ghana. So, we shouldn't be scared of these two people. But of course, it's not over until it's over. Looking at our performance with the Moroccans, should we still have some hope?
Yeah, you can.
I'm losing hope already.
You can have a little hope, and that's because you look at the group dynamics, and Morocco were far ahead of everyone else. All the odds were in favor of Morocco winning the tournament. So they were tipped to progress to the knockout round, topping the group, followed by Ghana. And so when those two teams meet, Morocco and Ghana, you'd expect the team tipped to win the tournament to win. And if you look at the results, it wasn't the worst in terms of, the final results. Ghana losing narrowly due to a last-minute goal, a goal by Buffon in the 83rd minute. However, I think the premise has been set for this tournament, and you can see that through how tight matches are, we're averaging just about a goal per game after match day 1 finished. And so you know that no one is really dominating games, so you're not really seeing that gap between big teams and supposedly small teams. And so Ghana can look at that and say that we cannot underestimate Gabon, who, remember, already have 3 points after beating Comoros in their first match. And they did that without their 2 key players, in Lamina and Aubameyang, both of which have resumed training on Wednesday and are expected to play against Ghana.
Mm-hmm. And that means that we should do a lot more work, right? But let's look at the how we played with the Moroccans, our weaknesses against our strengths, where we need to patch up and where we need to improve on. What are the things we should keep on doing, and what are the don'ts that we should avoid?
I think the most obvious do from the team is how well they defended. And prior to that game, the team had lost its compactness in defense in that friendly against Algeria, and also in some of the preceding games as well.
And I remember you even expressed fear that it could be one of our challenges.
Yeah, and but it's important because, in tournament football, once you defend well, you always give yourself a chance. But it's enough for you to defend, but for you to be able to win a game, you need some form of threat and attack. Otherwise, your best result in every game is going to be possibly a 0-0 draw. So although they've defended well, I think one of the weaknesses that the team expressed was going forward. There wasn't any clear pattern in terms of how they're moving the ball up front to create chances for their strikers and forward players. You look at Jordan Ayew being Ghana's striker, and can you imagine he didn't even have a touch of the ball in the opponent's penalty box. So usually that's where strikers score goals from and want to get balls from that area. But the way Ghana played, they didn't even give themselves a chance. The best chance came with a long-range effort from Joseph Painstill. So there's a lot of work to do going forward. You look at all around the matches, all the 12 matches from match day 1 in Cameroon, and you can safely say, as per the statistics, that Ghana played slowest and actually lacked the most intensity amongst all the 24 teams in Cameroon. So it just gives you an idea of a huge amount of work that Milovan Rajevac has to do, especially with the mentality going forward. Time and time again, we saw against Morocco that it's only 2-3 players isolated at the top against 4, 5, 6 defenders of Morocco. So the team may have to commit more bodies forward, especially against a lower-ranked Gabon side.
The last time Ayew was involved in an injury, what was the updates? How is he faring?
Well, so Milovan Rajevac was asked. Ayew didn't train yesterday, but Milo said that regardless, Andre Ayew would be ready. It was just more of a precautionary step. He had a little cut above his eye, and he needed to be stitched after the game. And so after that, the morning after, he was given the time off so that he doesn't have to train. But as stated, it's precautionary. He's expected to put on a headband for safety's sake. But Milovan didn't delve too much in how much time Andre will get. He said he would be involved, but he doesn't like to also reveal too much about his starting 11. And so if you're going by his word, Ayew is fine, and he should play a part against Gabon tomorrow.
And Kudus?
Well, Kudus is a tricky situation because earlier this week, sources from camp said that the player would return by end of week. And, the Ghana fraternity were confident that they would receive the player from Netherlands. However, Milo was asked today, and he doesn't seem so sure. He says he's still speaking the same tone and the same way he was speaking 2-3 weeks ago. He still says that they expect to have Mohamed Kudus in camp. They don't know exactly when, but they are confident he will come. But even if he's not around, they still have enough players to play at the moment. So nothing has really changed in terms of Milovan's body posture towards Mohamed Kudus' return. On the contrary, reports in Netherlands are suggesting that the player and Ajax have a little tension between them in terms of releasing the player to come to Ghana. And that's because Ajax feel frustrated that he spent a majority of time in the past 1.5 years injured, and most of the injuries have come from him coming to play for Ghana. And then when he's injured, Ajax have to take care of him. He gets well, and then it comes to get hurt in Ghana again. So they're a bit hesitant, especially because he's not actually played any football in 2 months after that injury in November. So they don't think he's match fit enough. And so there's a little bit of a delay. And you can see from the gap in communication how unsure the GFA are. They can't put a date and say that that's when Kudus is coming. So it's an ongoing situation, and if we get any updates, we'll definitely provide.
Is it likely that there's going to be a change in lineup?
Well, possibly. I think going forward, something might have to change. And the pressure is on Milovan Rajevac. Of course, he's the man to make the final calls, and he can decide to go with the same starting 11 like he did against Morocco, and maybe change tactics in terms of the number of bodies that he throws forward. But people were not too happy, and were calling for the inclusion of players such as Fatau Isahaku, maybe a Benjamin Tete, who is more focused in attack and all that. There were suggestions as to which players should play. But we don't have an idea of how the team would line up. All that we can say at the moment is that you should expect a team that's more willing to attack against Gabon.
This is what we'll be watching out in tomorrow's match. What time is the match tomorrow?
Oh, it's tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon. Well, like I always advise you viewers, please eat your fufu, your banku. Make sure you are really, really full before you sit there and watch the Ghana map. Well, you've put a little hope in me. I'll still expect that the Black Stars do better. That will be it for sports. We are back with more. Welcome back to The Pulse. Concerned mobile network subscribers have declared Tuesday, 8 February 2022 as a no-calls day in protest of the circuit surrounding the SIM card re-registration exercise. We have details, and of course, they are saying that the network subscribers. This is not the first of series of planned. This is the first of series of planned boycotts until the rights of mobile customers to be treated with dignity are respected. Selom Branti is the Vice President of Imani. He joins me via phone with details. Good afternoon to you, Selom. I'm grateful for your time.
Good afternoon.
So who are the Ghanaians behind this?
It's a growing list of Ghanaians. We have all expressed various levels of disquiet about the fact that the ongoing SIM registration re-registration exercise has not been planned well, and the execution and the implementation of the whole program has been marred in a few problems, and therefore, for a significant activity such as this, we believe that there has to be a forceful rethink of the way in which every aspect of this operation is being handled, to ensure that an implementation of a process such as this does not inconvenience Ghanaians, but also brings out the best outcomes in terms of the motive, in terms of the objectives, in terms of how it is being implemented, and in terms of the effect on all sides of the spectrum, so to speak.
So, Salam, you have demands apart from the protest. What are they?
So, we really want to also re-examine the legal framework under which this re-registration exercise is being done. We do know, as SIM subscribers or as users of mobile phones, that we have all already gone through a process of registration which is statutory or mandatory, and we have used nationally issued identity cards for those purposes, which ID cards already have biometric details that can be tracked and verified. So it becomes bizarre now that we are being forced to undergo this process all over again from step one onwards, when there are enough tools, systems, and techniques which can be used to actually sift that data, sanitize it, and then fish out those who are deemed to have had suspicious SIM card registrations. And we believe that as citizens of Ghana, we shouldn't bear the brunt of a faulty process, but rather they should be able to use the assets or the resources available to actually fish out those who they believe have suspect registrations, and rather make those come and then rectify their records wherever they might be. The legal framework under which the NCA, as well as the Ministry of Communication, is running this re-registration exercise does not seem to be under any defined umbrella, and therefore it becomes problematic that a mere directive from a regulator coerces citizens to go out there, queue, and basically lose productive man hours on something that has no fully recognized and accepted legal basis.
So come 8th February, what are we expected to do?
So we are calling on all Ghanaians to not use their voice, subscriptions. And voice subscriptions here are ability to not to make phone calls through the regular phone line, as well as receive phone calls through the regular phone lines. This should be very significant in ensuring that attention is drawn to the fact that this draconian directive has huge inconveniences on us. And by doing so, we are bringing attention to all the telcos, as well as the regulators, that without us, systems like this would never work, and therefore our input is also very important in determining aspects of implementation. The hard and fast rule that we should stick to a March 31st deadline is one of the major reasons driving this. Because at the end of the day, if by that deadline, a lot of Ghanaians have not registered, it means that per the directions that have been given, they will actually be cut off the networks anyway. So this will be a dress rehearsal for such a scenario, and then we will see who becomes the bigger loser in the end.
I'm grateful for your time. He is Vice President of Imani Africa. That's why we wrap up the Pulse this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Over there, you get updates of all the developing stories. Enjoy the rest of our programs.